Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same as the.
And welcome back to the NHL Friday betting preview edition of Pucks Across Borders. Brought to you by First Round Collectibles on Total Apex Sports and Sports Addict Live. First Round Collectibles right now with our promo code Sports Addict. Get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off tons and tons of cards. And with our promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular price cards, but sales cards as well. Go to FirstRoundCollectibles.com today. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. FirstRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Once again, welcome back to the NHL Betting Friday. The Friday NHL betting preview edition of Pucks Across Borders. I keep saying welcome back because we just finished our World Junior preview just about 10-15 minutes ago. We wrapped that bad boy up. Lucas from the Hockey Writers, Vancouver reporter for the Hockey Writers, he joined us. Wealth of knowledge, that guy. 1,000 times more than me, that's for sure. And Andre knows his stuff as well. So if you didn't watch it, please go back. It's on my Twitter, Solder on Pucks. It's on Total Apex Sports Twitter. It's on Sports Addict Live YouTube, World Juniors preview, where we broke down. And of course, we threw out a few bets because we can't help ourselves. 7 games in the NHL tonight. Lots of games last night to talk about. We'll touch a little bit on what we learned, but we do have 7 games to break down tonight. We will do all of that, but before we do, Andre, how are you feeling? I literally asked you this an hour and a half ago or an hour ago when we started the World Junior preview, but has anything changed? Are you okay? Any life-shattering information that's come your way in the last hour?
It's actually funny you mentioned that because while we were live, I got a notification that Daniel Jones, former Giants quarterback, gifted the Giants offensive line Clase Azul tequila for Christmas. You know, a limited release at that. Very nice guy, very classy guy. Best of luck to him in Minnesota. I thought that was very interesting. Kind of warmed my heart a little bit. You know, family's not dead, even if Giants football is.
It's not dead. It's just on a hiatus, an indefinite hiatus. All right. Lots of games last night. We'll go through the scores and touch on a little bit about what happened. Giving a lot of time, though, for the 7 games coming up tonight. Really good card on a Friday night, man. So many Friday nights. We got 2 games, 3 games, maybe 4 games. Last week, I think we had 1 game, if I'm not mistaken, Carolina and Ottawa. But because the NHL is on a little hiatus of their own next week over the holidays, lots of games tonight. Last night, Blues, Lightning, 3-1 in favor of the Lightning. Blues outshot the Lightning 32-18. I thought the Blues carried the play for a lot of that game. Vasilevsky played tremendous, and the Lightning found a way to win. The Blue Jackets beating the Devils 4-2, covering the -1.5 puck line. If you were so bold to bet the Blue Jackets -1.5 against the Devils, Merzlikins, crazy night for him. 40 saves, and the Devils lose 4-2. 40, that would be insane. The Kings beat the Flyers in the first leg of our 3-for-3 parlay. Congratulations if you won some money last night off of our parlay. The Kings beat the Flyers 7-3. Really close game. until it wasn't. And the Kings just blew it wide open. The Penguins and the Predators. This, I feel like we're going to talk about this game in our takeaways a little bit because Predators blow another lead. Been doing it all year. And the Penguins show some real resiliency coming back, beating the Predators 5-4. Kraken lose to the Blackhawks 3-1. Senators keep on winning, beat the Flames in overtime. Brady Tkachuk with 2 straight OT winners. The Bruins up 2-0 on the Oilers, end up blowing that lead, lose 3-2 in overtime. The Canucks lose 3-1 to the Golden Knights, while the Avalanche, in what was honestly a really, really entertaining hockey game, Avalanche beat the Sharks 4-2, and that game was 2-1 Sharks going into the third period. It was a really good hockey game. So yeah, and then of course 7 games to get to tonight. But before we do, Andre, from last night, what caught your eye in the NHL last night?
If you enjoy slapstick comedy, watch the Penguins versus Predators overtime. It's like 70 seconds tops. It features a kicked puck, like literally 5 seconds into it because somebody lost their stick. Crosby lost his stick. People tripping over themselves, just passing it to nowhere. Just take a peek. A minute of your life, you can spare it.
That's hilarious. That game is a weird one for me because, we bet that game in our parlay and it hit for us. So that's always a beautiful thing. But it's tough, man. Like it's hard to believe that the Predators season is over. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. If they hung around, they were in the mix until the end of the year, and then they ended up losing, a playoff spot in late March or something, then maybe, okay, fair enough. But to be as out of it as they are, and they had that game many different times. They're up 3-1. They're up 4-3. They had that game, and to blow it. But then on the other side, man, Pittsburgh just keeps winning. Like, Andre, did you know the Pittsburgh Penguins in their last 10 games, they're 7-2-1? Like they're just finding ways to win every single night, and good on them. I know this isn't the NHL that you like to live in, but I like to live in NHL where Sidney Crosby is relevant, and that's what he's doing right now, man. And when it comes to the, standings, they're 1 point back of the Ottawa Senators for that last wild card. So, love to see it. All right. Not too much else. I mean, it was a really entertaining night last night. I think the Blue Jackets they're going to be a hard out all year. I think that it's time that we just give them that. The Kings find a way to not only they allowed 3 or less goals again, but they scored 7, which is remarkable, even as gettable as that Flyers team can be. And the Avalanche, man, I know you're facing the Sharks, but the Sharks played a really good hockey game, and they got in some penalty trouble in the third period, and the Avalanche took advantage, but good win for the Avalanche. All right, let's move on. 7 games to get through happening tonight, and we're going to talk about them all, starting with the Carolina Hurricanes in Washington for a line that really surprised me, to be quite honest. I mean, if you want to have Carolina a favorite, I can get behind it, but Washington's one of the best teams in the league. I know Carolina is as well, but this seems a little bit disrespectful to me. Carolina minus 160 on the money line. Washington plus 132. Minus 1.5 for the Capitals is plus 152. Plus 1.5 for the Capitals is minus 188. The over is 5.5 at minus 132. And the under is plus 108. Andre, what do you got here, man? Carolina, Washington.
Yeah, I think we're on the same wavelength here, especially in DC. Very strange to me that the Canes, again, really, really, really good team. Nothing away from them. But not only favorited, this heavily favorited against the Washington team that's all season long just consistently won, especially at home. I know they're coming off a bad loss to the Blackhawks. They blew a 2-0 lead, let that one get away. I think that's just going to help them for this game. They're playing well. I think the Lightning passed them in scoring, but they're still second in scoring. They're one of the 3 teams ahead of the Canes in that department, so they got that boxed. Carolina's been a worse team at home all season long. Talk about goals allowed; they'd still allow fewer goals for Canes than the Canes. I don't get it, Mark. I don't. I respect Carolina. I feel like Vegas always over respects Carolina. I'm not buying it. I'm taking the Capitals money line here.
I completely agree with you. I remember having that conversation last year where they're just always massive favorites all the time. I mean, look at it, man. Like, I know Carolina's a good team. This isn't about Carolina. You want to make them, minus 120 favorites on the road. I would disagree, but I can understand it. They're in Washington, correct? I got that right. I think I did.
Yeah, they're in DC.
Yeah. They're in Washington. On the road, Carolina 7-6-1. At home, Washington's 9-4-2. Last 10, Washington's 7-2-1. Carolina is 5-5. Carolina is on a 2-game winning streak, while Washington's on a 2-game losing streak. On a not a long road trip, but they were on a road trip. They're back home now. They lost to Dallas. They lost to Chicago. Both games that they probably could have won. I just don't understand here. Like, I don't know. And we've been beat by the books many times when the books have this massive favorite that nobody understands. But to me, this is Washington. Not all day long. This should be closer to a pick'em. It just really should. Washington, by all accounts, I just trust this team, man. I trust this team to produce. I trust their goaltending to be solid. I trust their defense to be solid. And I'm taking Washington. I'm right there with you. Plus 132. If you care about baseball, Christian Walker going to the Astros, 3 years, $60 million. That's interesting.
It's a good player.
Don't really care. Except for it's another name that's linked to the Blue Jays, who the Blue Jays don't get. Just another day. Same old stuff.
You have a first baseman. It's all good.
Oh, yeah. For now. Going to actually talking about Toronto Maple Leafs in Buffalo, minus 152 in Buffalo. Now, at first I was like, okay, these odds, Buffalo's an absolute tire fire, and these odds should be bigger than they are, but they are on the road. But wasn't Nashville like a minus 170 favorite in Calgary last week or something like that?
Yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do I know? Toronto minus 152 in Buffalo. Buffalo plus 126. Minus 1.5 for the Maple Leafs is plus 160. Plus 1.5 for Buffalo is minus 200. The over is 6.5 at plus 102. And the under is minus 124. Andre, what do you got, man? Buffalo Leafs.
You don't want to hear this, but you know where I'm going with this. I mean, we talked about the Sabres in a long time yesterday.
Yeah, we did. It was a while.
We talked about their ineptitude, their incompetence for a very long time. They've lost 11 in a row. They've been outscored by, I think I said 23 goals during that stretch. It was 45-22.
Yeah.
Most of those games, as you could imagine, based on simple arithmetic, were by multiple goals. That includes a 6-1 loss in Montreal a few days ago on Tuesday. That includes Sunday's 5-3 loss in Toronto, the first time they played the Leafs this season. I know you have your hesitations, your reservations about the Leafs playing the Sabres, particularly in Buffalo, but I'm not buying it. Leafs -1.5 here. Add another one to the losing streak.
Yes, I am with you. I actually already have a bet on this. I think Maple Leafs -1.5 too. Like you said, as a Leaf fan, I do. This does feel like a game that the Leafs lose. They never play on Fridays. Buffalo always plays them tough. They're in Buffalo. It's just we've seen these weird games year after year after year. I just think the way the Leafs are playing right now, and I just think the way that the Leafs are winning, like that game against Buffalo, and I know that it's Buffalo, and I know that they were home, but Buffalo was up 2-0 before half of the stadium was in their seats, and the Leafs came back and they win. And not only do they win, but they cover the puck line. That game against Dallas the other night, I know Dallas has some sort of sickness going through the locker room. Two of their best defensemen weren't in the locker room. Jake Ottinger had a very rare off night. I get all of that, but Dallas was up 1-0 very early, tied 1-1, 22 seconds into the second period. Dallas gets the 2-1 goal, and it just felt like Toronto was just kind of chasing that game until halfway through through the second period, where they just took over. Just the way Toronto's winning right now, I'm just really impressed by. And Buffalo's just a complete disaster. There's no real two ways about it, man. Like, they're just a tire fire. They're not executing in any area of their game. The one thing that makes me nervous about the puck line, I do think Toronto wins this game tonight. The one thing that makes me nervous about the puck line specifically is that Matt Murray is making his triumphant return to the crease for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anthony Stolarz is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Joseph Woll has been playing a bulk of the games, and they are playing on a back-to-back. They have a game tomorrow night against the Islanders, which Woll will start. So Matt Murray, called up from the Toronto Marlies in the AHL. He is getting the start tonight. He's not played in the NHL for about a year. So what does that mean? Is it going to be, cookie night for everybody in Buffalo? I don't know. You just don't know. Like, you don't know what you're getting from Matt Murray. Even when he's been healthy over the last few years, you don't really know what you're getting from him. This is his first game back in a long time. So it's just hard to really predict. So that's my one concern with the -1.5. But I do like it. But that one thing makes me a little bit tentative. All right, moving on. St. Louis, Florida. St. Louis, like I said, I felt like they outplayed the Lightning for large stretches of that game last night. 42, was it 40? How many shots? They outshot the 38. They outshot them pretty handedly. They are staying in Florida, and they're playing the Panthers tonight. Plus 245 are the Blues on the money line. -310 are the Panthers on their money line. -1.5 for Florida is -110. +1.5 for St. Louis is -110, which is really interesting odds for those two puck lines. The over is 5.5 at -110, and the under is -110. So everything's -110 except for these super disjointed money lines. Very interesting. Andre, what do you got, man? St. Louis, Florida.
Yeah, the Blues, they fought hard last night. Outshot the Lightning, like you said, 32-18. The problem, really, besides the fact they were on the road against a better team, was special teams. The Lightning perfect on the PK, or I guess the Blues couldn't break through when they had a man advantage, and that was, if you're not going to score man up on the Lightning, you're not going to score really, especially not that St. Louis team. So now they have the back-to-back, the dreaded Florida back-to-back these days. They're playing an even tougher team. The Blues, very quietly, I know you love them. They've lost 4 or 5, though. One of those losses was at home to the San Jose Sharks. The other 3 losses, they only scored 1 goal every single time. The lone win was against the worst team in the Metro. So they're not playing.
Hold on. They're not the worst team in the Metro. Get out of here.
We're going to talk about them. It's cool.
All right. Okay.
It's cool. I tried to sneak that one in there. I didn't think you could.
Almost worked.
I was so close. And the process last night was good, but the rest of those games, they got outshot and pretty handily at that. Power play, ice cold in those 5 games. They only have 8 power plays in general over those 5 games. They didn't catch in on any of them. So they're really just not playing an inspiring brand of hockey, particularly offensively. The Panthers will smother you in a heartbeat. The Panthers are rested. The Panthers, you saw what they did to the Wild in Minnesota. They're back home. I think this is a runaway. I wouldn't be scared of -2.5 here, but I'll stick to the -1.5 for Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the I just feel like the way the Blues are playing right now, I hear you, losing 4 of their last 5. I just trust the way they're playing. Like I just like watching them, because watching the Blues, man, inevitably once a week you're just gonna get like a game from the Blues where it's like, what in the world was that? And I feel like we're not really getting that much anymore. That being said, I think that game against the Wild was a statement for the Panthers. Like that game, because the Panthers have been a good team, but they just look like a team on autopilot. Like they just look like a team. Some nights we're going to blow you out. Sometimes we're not going to show up till the 3rd period. They're just, let's just get to the playoffs and we'll see what we can do. They just don't look like a team that's really fully invested in the regular season right now, which is fair. Like you made it to 2 straight Cup finals. You know what you can do once you get to the Stanley Cup. It's just a matter of getting to the playoffs. I'm with you. I don't. The puck line here has me confused, if I'm being honest. Like this is where I don't really understand what I'm looking at, because you would think that at a -110 puck line plus at -1.5, you would think, because usually those are like plus money pretty significantly, and usually the +1.5 is minus money pretty significantly, right? That's just kind of the way that it is, and the way its odds are for this right now have me confused. I am taking the Panthers -1.5, but I don't know. I have been really impressed with how the Blues are playing, and that +1.5. I might swing to the other side of this by the time the puck drops. The one thing I will say, my guy Jordan Kyrou, 4 goals in his last 5 games. He is +270 to score tonight, which I think is way too long of odds for Jordan Kyrou. So I do like him to get on the board at +270. Moving on to the Montreal Canadiens in Detroit. +132 are the Canadiens on the road. -160 are the Red Wings at home. -1.5 for the Red Wings is +154. +1.5 for the Canadiens, -192. The over is 6.5 at +110, and the under is -134. Andre, I want to know what you think about this. I feel like since Montreal, since Laine's come back, this team is just different. And my first reaction here is Montreal plus 132 all day long. And it does have me stop. Like I'm not my first reaction is Montreal plus 132, and then I think about it for a second. I'm like, can we? I just feel like I don't know, man. Like I feel like they're a new team since Line A came, and I feel like I can't bet on the Canadians for a while. Like I feel like I just need to take a minute, watch this unfold, and see where we're at. Where do you land with Montreal and Detroit?
Honestly, I understand not trusting either of these teams. I am leaning towards Montreal. I just like the hockey they've been playing a bit better. Like you said, there's new energy with Line A. I know they're on the road for this game, which isn't exactly the most promising outlook for them, especially they're 3-9-1 in away games this year. But why would I have faith in Detroit? I don't. It's plain and simple. But my favorite thing, really, truly, in this game, regardless of a side, regardless of a total, regardless of OT, I know 6 of the last 7 between these teams went to OT. I like Montreal to score first. They've done it in 7 straight. Keep it simple. Montreal gets on the board first. I'm pulling up the odds right now. But in a high-scoring game, that's my favorite play.
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. And we got to just keep this going. Patrick Laine, plus 210 to score. Why? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm questioning the books too much. Maybe I'm getting too cocky. 4 goals in his last 5 games. Has he even played 5 games? I don't even know. Like, plus 210 for Laine to score. This guy's scoring every night he's playing, man. Also on the other side for Detroit, Lucas Raymond. This guy's putting pucks in the net every night as well. And Lucas Raymond's plus 175. So those 2 guys to score, I love that. Plus 175 for Lucas Raymond. Plus 2. Whoa, hold on. Oh, plus 210. Sorry. Patrick Kane was right underneath Patrick Laine. Patrick Kane's plus 260. I was like, wait, that jumped dramatically, but no. So, but I'll take Montreal as well. All right. Moving on. I feel like we should have done this game last because we've already been talking. We did the World Juniors preview. We've been talking for a long time. We're getting through these 7 games. But I feel like this is the game we could talk the most about. New York Rangers are in Dallas. If you missed the show yesterday, then I announced, and I'm very excited to announce it. We had Lucas on from the Hockey Writers for the World Junior preview. I am now writing for the Hockey Writers as the Dallas Stars writer. So if you like reading hockey articles, if you like following these teams, follow my work talking about the Dallas Stars is something that I'm excited to do. And I'm excited about this one, man. The other night was cool for me because I got to watch like the Leafs and cover the Stars. It was a cool experience. Tonight, I'm watching your team covering the Stars, plus 150, the New York Rangers on the road. Minus 182 are the Dallas Stars. Minus 1.5 is plus 138, plus 1.5 for the Rangers, minus 170. The over 6.5, plus 102, and the under is minus 124. I am very curious to know what you feel about this game. Rangers, Stars. In Dallas.
Yes. Deep down in my heart, I actually feel like the Rangers are going to win this game. But we got to be honest with ourselves sometimes. And they just got shut out in Nashville. They just lost 2-0 to Nashville. Game before that, they were down 3-0 to the Blues. Game before that, a 5-1 home loss to the Kings. They lost to the Blackhawks recently. They lost 7-5 at home to the Kraken. With Jersey beat them 5-1. The Flyers beat them 3-1. The Rangers are just a mess right now. They're not scoring. They're getting solid goaltending performances for the most part. But the defense is prone to collapses. We know that. I know the Stars haven't had exactly the model season they were expecting. They're a fine team. More importantly, they take care of business at home. 13-4 record. You look at the goal differential, plus 22. The PK is 90.7%. Save percentage, 917. Dallas -1.5 all day.
-1.5. So this is the thing. If I'm going to go with the Rangers side of this, okay? The Dallas Stars have had some sort of sickness going through their locker room all week long. Casey DeSmith was supposed to start the other night. He was sick. He came in the third period to relieve Jake Ottinger, who had a really bad game, allowing 4 goals on 12 shots. They've had some defensemen out. Mason Marchment got banged up the other night. Not too sure the strength of that roster right now, and not talent-wise, but like physically what their strength is. Like just this sickness that's been going through. The other side of it is Jake Ottinger's playing in his 8th straight start tonight, which, in my opinion, as an old school hockey guy, I think if you're getting paid $8.5 million, you should probably be able to start 8 straight games. But what do I know? I don't know. Is that too much? Are they overworking him right now? It's hard to say. So those are the things that kind of make me think that New York might have a chance here in this one. The reason why I don't think they have a chance to win this one, and when I say when I say -1.5 for Dallas, I really think this is going to be a close game. I really do. I think it's going to be 3-1, maybe 4-2 with the empty netter. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I just don't think that the Rangers can score right now. Like, where is their scoring coming from? Like what you said, Andre, you said it perfectly. Like, they just can't score. And when they do score, the other team scores more. Like, I just don't know what we're getting from the Rangers. It's hard for me to bet the Rangers. I almost want to stay away from betting this game just because I don't know what I'm getting from the Rangers. I just don't. -182 is too expensive. I don't like the puck line, or the 60-minute line, sorry. I like the puck line, but what if the Rangers come out and do their thing? What is even their thing? I have no idea. I will say this, and I know you're a fan and I want to be sensitive, but the Rangers got to snap out of this pretty quickly. Like, they're 4 points back of a playoff spot right now. 5 points back of a playoff spot right now. Now, luckily, Ottawa is like the most inconsistent team of the last 5 years, so maybe they don't stick around, but top 3 in the division is pretty much bye-bye. They got to start winning hockey games and doing it really quickly.
The problem is, as Jordan Ramos so eloquently put it probably a week or two ago, they're cooked with a capital C. That's the problem. I mean, and you say where the scoring is coming from. With no Panarin, it's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
That it's just highlighting all the struggles of everybody else even more. Keandre Miller, to a certain extent, for his defensive issues this year, he's actually been productive offensively, or at least creating chances, driving play, whatever. But yeah, they're a mess. We'll get back to them in 2025.
Yeah, and I want to talk about it. Like, what do they do if they miss the playoffs? Because I still can't imagine that they do miss the playoffs. I just can't see that happening. But you look at the standings right now, it seems pretty. What did I just do? It seems somewhat likely that they're going. I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. Utah Hockey Club in Minnesota. I was gonna say the disrespect. I feel like Minnesota should have been favored more, but you know what, man? Utah's playing really well right now. I'm a believer in this team, at least for right now. Plus 110, the Utah Hockey Club in Minnesota. Minnesota is -132, -1.5 for the Wilds, plus 186, plus 1.5 for the Hockey Club, -235. Over 5.5 minus 124, under plus 102. What do you got?
I mean, I get what you're saying and what you said about Utah playing pretty well, but we've seen it with the Wild all year. They're just a good team. They just win. They just make plays. I know what Florida did to them the other night probably makes it seem silly to say, but I trust this Minnesota Wild team. Home, away,
Yeah,
whatever.
me
I
too.
know they have injuries, but they dealt with the same thing last year. They know how to get through it. And just 10 days ago, I don't know if this was a pretty entertaining game. They beat Utah 5-4 in a shootout.
That was a great game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was it. The game tying goal was so bizarre. But that was in Utah. Now it's in Minnesota. Now, the Wild get to host. And I think that favors them. Minus 130. Nothing crazy. I like it, though. I'm going to take it. I think this one's also going to be high scoring. I'm going to roll with the over again. But whatever Utah's going to do with their 3 goals, 4 goals, whatever they're good for, I think Minnesota can match them again.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Don't need to get too much more complicated than that. I'm with you. Minnesota money line, minus 132. I am here for it. Last game of the night, the Colorado Avalanche in Anaheim. Anaheim, they've been playing these teams really close, man. And not only like the Leaf game, that was the Leafs game. Like you felt like the Leafs were going to win that game. Dostal played really, really well. But that game against Winnipeg, dude, the other night, like that game against Winnipeg, you have a team in Winnipeg tied 1-1. Winnipeg didn't play great for the first 40 minutes. The first 10 minutes of the second period, Winnipeg completely dominated. They get up 2-1. They're feeling good. They're playing good. And in the last 5 minutes of the hockey game, not only does Anaheim tie the game, but they win it. I think Anaheim is playing incredibly competitive right now. They are plus 198 at home, minus 245 are the Avalanche on the road, minus 1.5 for Colorado is plus 104, plus 1.5 for the Ducks is minus 128. The over is 6.5 at minus 104, and the under is minus 118. I love the Ducks plus 1.5 here, minus 128. Now the Ducks plus 1.5 has burned us recently, but I'm going back to it and I love it. Colorado, you look at the box score in the morning and you go, oh yeah, Colorado beat the Sharks 4-2, took care of business, no big deal. That was not how that game went at all last night. And the Sharks played a really good hockey game and they were winning 2-1 going into the third period. So, and I felt so bad for Georgie, dude, because there was like 15 minutes left in that third period, and I was like, Georgie, hold it down, bro. Get the win. Do it. And he couldn't. But the Sharks are playing teams really hard. They played Colorado hard last night. But I really like what we're seeing from the Ducks right now, man. I'm all over this plus 1.5, minus 128. What do you got?
What I noticed interesting about Colorado in their last 7 games, when they've gotten outshot, they're 4-0. When they're even in shots, they're 1-0. That was a 6-2 win. And when they outshoot the other team, they're winless. And they only scored 1 goal in each of those games. Very weird stuff from the Avs right now. They need every point they can get. They're stacking points. They have this California trip. They got the easier 2 teams back to back. But the Anaheim's not an easy out. They just beat the Jets 3-2. They just beat the Jackets 4-3 in OT. Bunch of tight 1-goal losses on this season for them. They lost 4-3 to OT in OT when they were in Denver earlier this season. I'm right there with you. I like that puck line. I like that plus 1.5 for him. I think it's going to be a tight game. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to OT, especially since Colorado's playing the second half of the back-to-back.
Yeah, I'm right here for it. I love it. And to see, I just hate it when the Ducks play at home, because not only does the game start at 10:30, but those orange jerseys, dude, like, I love the away orange. with the shoulder, the orange shoulder, the white jersey. I love that's a cool look. But that orange home jersey, dude, that's just I can't get enough. Like it's head to toe. It's literally head to toe. If they made the skates orange, then it would like very literally be head to toe. But all right, that is every game. Let's wrap this up quick style with our best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles. FirstRoundCollectibles.com. Promo code SportsAddict for 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off tons and tons of cards. And with our promo code SportsAddict, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. Go to FirstRoundCollectibles.com today. Use promo code SportsAddict for 10% off your order. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Andre nailed our best bets, felt good. Hate admitting this out loud, but it was our first parlay of the year. We hit 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, and we finally got 3 out of 3. It took way too long, but it is what it is. That's gambling sometimes. What do you have as your best bet as we look to go back to back for the first time this season?
Yeah, with honorable mention to the Montreal Canadiens' first goal scorer, which DK didn't have odds for. It's the only reason I'm not picking it. Dallas Stars minus 1.5. Let's be real.
Oh my gosh, you're not doing that.
Let's be real.
I can't tell, dude. Are you a smart sports guy or are you a pissed off fan? I can't tell the difference right now.
Could be both.
Yeah. I love
just
it.
No. You know, I just accepted it.
So funny. That's so funny. All right. I'm going to go starting at the exact same time. I'm going to Minnesota. I like that Minnesota money line. I think Minnesota's been a little bit up and down as of late. I do like the way Utah's been playing, but I think Minnesota corrects themselves tonight. And I like that minus 132. And I will say, I got Minnesota at minus 125 earlier in the day. So there is money going in on Minnesota. Family play. What do we got?
It's a great question. I mean, we agreed on a lot of stuff.
Yep. Washington, Leafs minus 1.5, Panthers minus 1.5, Canadians, Ducks plus 1.5.
What stands out to you? Where was your head at?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it concerns me because Carolina's a very good team, but Washington being significant underdogs at home is weird. You know, Carolina's a good team. Montreal, I feel like I would love to take Montreal plus 132, but I feel like I need to watch this team with Line for a little bit before I put money on them. The Ducks plus 1.5. I don't know. I think Washington. I think that's the one.
Let's lock it in then. Washington plus money. Worked for us yesterday.
Yep.
The Penguins. You know,
yep.
Saw a line we didn't like. Bet against it. Lock it in.
Let's do it.
Washington plus 136. Yeah. So Stars minus 1.5. Have a plus 140. Wild money line. I have minus 130. Capitals money line. I have a plus 136. That 3-pick parlay for me is 902.
You're doing good the last couple days, man. Those DraftKings odds. On FanDuel, minus 1.5, plus 138. Minnesota minus 132. Washington plus 132. Plus 870 for FanDuel.
We're fighting back.
Yes, sir. You're getting. Maybe they watch the show, dude. Maybe DK watches and they're just like, we got to fix this.
Yeah. If they're watching, they should sponsor us too.
Yeah, they really should. Everybody, thank you so much as always for watching. For watching the World Junior preview earlier in the afternoon, for watching this show. We appreciate it. If you watch both, then hats off to you, because that's a lot of just me talking about nothing, and I appreciate you. Shout out to Total Apex Sports. We appreciate them. Lots of great football content coming up for the weekend. Fantasy football, gambling football, watching football. Lots of great content over there. Shout out to First Round Collectibles. Promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. We'll be back. The holidays are upon us. Only one more weekday of NHL action before Christmas. I know I'll be back on Monday. Not too sure if we'll all be back. We'll see what happens. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe out there with the crazies at the malls and the shopping and all that nonsense. Again, promo code Sports Addict, 10% off your order. First Round Collectibles. More Sports. Have a great weekend. See you next time.